What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Panther, and welcome your faces to kind of a basically just a cut commentary, kind of talking about the whole dilemma with swastikas not being in Call of Duty World War II. And I may or may not end up touching a little bit slightly on the whole, females and multiplayer kind of thing, just because that's also kind of a big deal too. But mainly, I just want to talk about the swastikas not being in World War II. And of course, I decided to kick it old school with Zombies Chronicles and play Verrückt, which is a Nazi zombie map. So obviously there would be swastikas in places, but there are none in this game either. And there are plenty of reasons for there not to be swastikas in big AAA titles nowadays. So basically what happens is a game company will develop a game, right? And so Sledgehammer Games wants to be in development of Call of Duty World War II, right? And so what they're doing is, of course, they want to try to make it as historically accurate as they possibly can, at least the campaign, because the campaign is kind of the most important part, and there are going to be swastikas in the campaign, so you guys can calm down on that, because the campaign is supposed to be like the more realistic part, I guess you could say. But then in multiplayer, they're taking it out, and the reason for that is because many countries have very different laws when it comes to what can be put in video games, what can't be put in video games. Basically kind of just talking about like speech kind of things. And of course in America we have free speech, so you know what, screw it, I'm gonna get the LCAR9. So in America we can pretty much do like whatever we want, no problem. But in other countries such as Germany, they have very hard laws on certain things, and of course in Germany they have very hard laws on swastikas, which, I mean, of course makes sense, you know, like why wouldn't there be hard laws on swastikas in Germany? It's kind of a bad thing. But then there are also hard swastika laws in other countries as well, and there are certain things that you just cannot put in a video game. So what Sledgehammer Games decided to do was they thought, you know, it would be more beneficial if we can get every single country playing at the exact same time on the exact same game, because if they were to put the swastikas in multiplayer and in zombies, what they would have to do is they would have to make like an American version, a German version, a Chinese version, a whole just different European type versions and everything, and so that would basically limit the player base. So what Sledgehammer wants to do is they're like, you know what, screw it, let's take swastikas out, let's not put anything else in, let's just put in the Iron Cross and the Axis and all that, just so everyone can be playing the exact same game at the exact same time. There's nothing going on, you know, it's not, so now Americans can play with Germans, and that's fun, that's great, and that's basically what they're trying to do. What I don't understand is why people are having such a hard time with it. Now, yes, I know that there are those like the social justice warriors who are like, oh, meh, we have to, you know, it happened. Everything in history happened. You can't just block out a part of history. Yes, you can't block out a part of history. But here's the thing: when has Call of Duty multiplayer ever been realistic to the point where they would absolutely have to 100% put swastikas in the game? Because tell me, in World War II, was there a dude sitting in the trenches or going on top of no man's land running it and quickscoping people? No, I don't think that was a thing. Was there a guy and he's like, you know, counting his kills, like he's writing on the chalkboard, he's like, okay, you know what, kill 1, kill 2, kill 3, kill 4, and then he opens up his map and then he calls in a UAV. That's not realistic, and I don't think that actually happened in World War II. I don't think some guy is sitting there with his flamethrower just sitting in his pocket waiting for him to get like, what, 7 kills or something, and then he can pull out the flamethrower because it's been charged with the souls of all those that he killed. That's not a thing. Like, I'm sorry, that's just not a thing. I don't understand why you're expecting realism from Call of Duty when Call of Duty has never really meant to be realistic. And this also kind of adds to the whole thing about women being in multiplayer too. Now, yes, there weren't many women fighting in the actual wars, but does that really fucking matter? Is it really going to affect your gameplay on being a man or a woman? It's not like I'm actually going to be sitting there trying to determine which character I want, and I'm like, you know what? I want to get the highest score streak in the game, so I'm going to pick a female. No. That's not how the game works. That's not how any of this is going to work. I can guarantee you that. So I don't understand why people have so many problems with it. They're like, it needs to be realistic. Campaign will be realistic, okay? The campaign will be realistic. Y'all can suck up having a realistic campaign for a fun multiplayer experience. Okay? I want to play with some German people. Like, if there are some German people watching my YouTube videos, then that's cool. That's great. I want to play with you guys on World War II. But if they have to play a different game just because of the whole swastika law, then what are we supposed to do? You know, it doesn't make sense. There are so many different things that they could be doing instead of like making different versions of the game with a swastika and without a swastika. It doesn't make sense. There are so many other things that they can do. Instead of taking the time to make multiple versions of the game with or without a certain symbol, they could be, you know, making sure that there's no bad lag compensation. They could be making sure that connections work. They could be making sure that, you know, there are dedicated servers. Okay, that's a fucking lie, because we're never going to get dedicated servers no matter what happens. But honestly, like, people should just stop complaining. There's no reason to complain. You want to play a realistic game? Okay, go play Battlefield. Oh, you don't like Battlefield? Well, that sucks. Stop complaining. It's just a video game. You don't have to be able to please every single person. That's what game companies basically have to do. They listen to the people. They're like, okay, this person wants this person wants this. You can't fucking please both of them. And then there are those guys who are saying, oh, but it's just disrespectful not to put that in a game because, you know, all the families that had to go through all that. It's basically saying they don't exist. What the fuck? They don't exist. So we're not putting in a little cross thingy, and that basically says, you know, all those people that died during that time, yeah, no, they didn't exist. That's stupid, and I don't understand why people are saying that. So I honestly think people just need to stop complaining. They need to just eat a dick or something and shut the fuck up. It's just a video game. It's honestly just a video game. It's not life or death. Nothing bad is going to come from a video game not having a certain symbol in it. So I think that's pretty much going to wrap up this entire video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys kind of understand the point that I'm trying to get at, that it really doesn't matter. Yeah, sure, it would be cool, I guess, if they put swastikas in the game, but it's really, you know, it's really not that big of a deal. So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for watching. My name is Ben Panther, and I will, of course, be seeing you guys in the next one.